Welcome to Immigrate. Welcome to a space where you can be vulnerable, a space where you're not going to be judged, a space where you can be authentic. And my hope and desire is to inspire and motivate everyone that click onto this podcast. So, welcome to another episode of Immigrate. Welcome to Immigrate. Welcome to a space. My name is Tasha Gay Olson. I'm an immigrant who have migrated from Jamaica 7 years ago. And the reason this podcast was started, it was started from a young woman or a little girl that always dream of traveling. But when it happened 7 years ago, a lot of things shift. A lot of things happen. And this podcast was started from just a small bit of I've went through so much as an immigrant. I have experienced things that I was so ashamed. I did not know how. I did not know how to express it. I didn't know who to talk to. So then I said, why not create a podcast where I could use this platform and share stories from people all over the world and help people to understand the importance of community. As I said earlier, my name is Tasha Gay Olson. I'm a business administrator, graduated from Olds College. Proud graduate. But I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an upcoming motivational speaker. And one of my biggest passion is to help people through connection. And I believe that connection grows when we first touch one person. Just by reaching out to one person, we can change the entire universe. And if you don't hear my words choices, you can pick it up and you can hear I am a Christian, a proud 7-day Adventist. And it's okay if you're not a Christian. It's for everyone. And I just want you to know that this is a space for everyone just to click, share it on your social media, share it to your friend, share it to your family, share it to someone who you know want to immigrate to a country, but they're scared. And it's fine if they're scared, because we all were in that place one day when we were all scared of an opportunity that, oh my God, I'm gonna go to another country. So this season 2 is going to touch on those scary topics, mental health, and talk about those topics. How does it affect immigrants? Because when it affected me, I was so ashamed because I've never experienced it. I was just listening to a program and it says 1 out of 5 Jamaicans have mental illness. But sometimes we don't know that. I am not a mental therapist, I must say, but I know the signs and symptoms because I've went through them as an immigrant. So come on over, share it with your friends, share my page on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook by Tasha Gay Olson, and on Instagram is Immigrate. Share it, like it, come on over, listen to the intriguing story that will blow your mind this season like never before. Thank you for listening, and thank you for sharing of another episode of Immigrate. Has happened to me. I'm here. As I said in my intro, welcome to my season 2. I am so delighted to be back into this space where I can get to open and share freely and share with my platform. Guys, I miss you so much. There's lots of been going on since the ending of my season 1, and we're going to dissect them and we're going to talk about them bit by bit in small pieces. As you all know, I am pretty much transparent and I'm open to sharing my journey. And as an immigrant on this podcast called Immigrate, there's a lot of times that we are so afraid to talk about what's really going on. So this season is called What's Going On. What's going on? So I remember when I told you guys that I got this job and everything. So the job, I did get it. I worked all that I could. I did everything I could to keep that job. But on one Wednesday afternoon, my boss, the vice president, called me in her office and said, "Today's your last day." Everybody can picture when you get a text message that we were at Teams and she Teams me and um, she said to me, "Tasha, could you come to my office?" It's a regular. I thought it was just something that she wants to thank me for because she always does that. But when I opened the door and I saw HR sit there with a paper in their hand, it reminds me of something. And I said, mm-hmm. So immediately, we're humans. I instantly got defensive. I got defensive. I said, I didn't say anything. Anyway, cut long story short, they told me I'm not a good fit. That was it. There was no more explanation, and they gave me the letter. And I kept asking, "What do you mean I'm not good fit?" He said, "Sorry, Tasha, it's not gonna work. It's not working out." I was bummed. I was hurt. I was bitter for a while. And that was in January. So you all remember I told you about this in, I think, November, right? I don't remember, but yeah. So it was around 3 months. My 3 months was coming to an end. I was very hurt. But that afternoon, I had a doctor's appointment. I came home and I was just weeping. I was crying. And you all know I love God and I talk about God so much. And I was just asking God, why did that happen? Why did He allow it to happen? Nothing came to me. There was no answer. And then I went to the doctor. We're going to walk through what's going on. I went to the doctor, and then the doctor told me went in. I had done a previous blood work before, and then the doctor told me some sad news. I had some real health challenges. Everything hit the fan. I'm now out of a job, and then I have some serious health challenges. As the season prolongs, I will go into it more and talk about what the health challenges are. And again, I started crying. And the doctor told me all the things I need to do in order to fix these health challenges. And he recommended medication. And I said to him, no, I don't want it. Naively, didn't want it. But anyway, he told me what I need to do. And I walked out and I was just crying. And my husband was trying to cheer me up and saying, don't worry. But he put me back in a place where I was when I was telling you guys that it's tough. And that's when the journey started. Previously, before that, I had started my business in October. I am now a proud owner of a candle company, but I was not putting as much effort in it because I was too busy focusing on the job. Then fast forward to that, praying and asking God what I should do. And then I started getting more bad news. Everybody know, if you're familiar with me, you know my grandmother is someone who is dear to my heart. And the news got to that she was in the hospital. Previous before that, a friend told me that their sister, was in the hospital. And then I heard that my grandmother was admitted. I lost it. I started asking God, what is He doing? And I said, I was just praying. I pray selfish prayer, asking God to keep her. By the time this episode is dropped, my grandmother would have died. God rest her soul, and she would have been buried. But it was so hard. I felt guilty. I felt like I didn't do enough. But as time went on and I started processing everything that happened, one of the things that came to me was what my grandmother would want me to do. And as we dissect into this season, I'm so sorry, but it's what's going on. We're starting this season and we're talking about mental health. And friends, it's so important that we understand that our mental health need to be in line with who we are. If we don't know who we are and know whose we are, we can be in trouble. And at that time, when I went through the job loss, met the health challenges, and I'm gonna talk about it. We're not putting everything in one season, but the death of my grandmother, that stripped me so much. It put me flat onto my face that the devil started sending me so much things that I was in such a dark place. I'm telling you guys, I'm being so transparent. And I was so ashamed that for weeks I did not even tell anyone. Like when it happened, I was ashamed to tell people that I was going through that. But as I started talking to some of my friends and talking to people that was close to me, the emptiness started fill up with me gratification, and what hit the fan when I saw something post on social media of the state of my grandmother. That hit me so hard. And then the reality hit. Couple days, I don't remember. As I'm processing it now, I don't remember how long, but I it came to me. God did not want me to stay. Oh, before I even say that, I wanted to go see her before she passed away. It was something that I said to God that I would. And that's why the guilt and all of that. But fast forward to what I was about to say. When I saw the state of what how she was, I didn't think God want me to see her in that state because I don't remember her seeing that state, right? And after I saw that and I processed all of that and I went through the pain and the agony and everything, I now realize that God didn't want me to. Friends, my podcaster world, it hurts so deep. I have never went through anyone that was so close to me that I've lost. And in the midst of all of that, God is such a good God that even in our deepest sorrow, He put us in platforms where He's going to lift us up. Friend, if you don't believe in prayer, please, I'm asking you to pray. Or if you cannot pray, ask people to pray for you. Because the devil will send everything to mess with your mind, to make you feel like you are the reason for things that you have no control over. And while I was going through that, he allowed me to speak about my journey. We were doing an all-night prayer and fasting at church, and I spoke about seek. And through that process, I said, God, you're such a unique God because I'm seeking you. I lost my job. I have a health issue. My grandmother died. I'm seeking God. And God put me in that room that night to talk about something that I was going through. That experience was so liberating till after I was done the presentation, I felt a heaviness left aside of me. I felt so blessed talking about that experience or talking about what seek means. And the reason I'm starting this podcast this way because this season gonna be heavy and it's gonna be a shameless platform where we're putting stop to this taboo topic and this embarrassment of saying if someone is going through something, do not let the person feel like they're worse. It's okay to feel your feelings. It's okay to go through that feeling, but don't keep it to yourself. Find at least one person. I am not a mental health therapist, but I have most of my friends are mental health therapists. And I have gone through a lot of mental health therapists. Like, I've gone through a lot, and I'm not ashamed to say that. So I can say it helps to talk to someone, to let go and vent and say, even to talk to God. But even though you talk to God, talk to someone. Friends, it's so exciting. This season is going to be refreshing. It's going to be touchy. It's going to be stuff that we don't want to talk about, but it's real. It affects us as immigrants. It affects all of us. It it creates such a heavy burden because a lot of us, like myself, who grew up in Jamaica, we had mental issue, but we didn't know what it is. But when we're in a country and we are isolated and we don't know people and all this, the first time I had an anxiety attack, I didn't know it was an anxiety attack. Praise God for Google. Like anyone else, the first thing we do is to go Google what the symptoms are. And I Googled what my symptoms were. And that's how I found out. And then I went to the doctor because I kept having it. And then I was like, okay. And then the doctor recommended a mental health therapist. The first time. And I was going to school. But I was so ashamed to see you having a panic attack, you having an anxiety attack, your heart start racing, your body starts stiffening up, and your heart is just pounding for no reason, your chest just get tight. I'm not a mental therapist, but I've experienced these things. All of those things I've experienced a couple months ago. By time this episode should drop, I have already gone through it. So I can experience and can tell you, be one with your body is so important because then you can understand what you're going through. So I'm just going to introduce what the season is going to be like. It's going to be powerful where we're Christians, we're going to have Christians come on here and see how we can let go and let God figure out and work through our mental health issues. We're going to have therapists who come on here and give tips on how we as immigrants can survive through this difficult time. It's difficult enough. It's difficult enough. You don't have to be alone. So this podcast is not going to be a normal podcast. And if it's not for you, that's fine. If you don't want to listen to it, but at least share it with someone who you think it might help. If whatever I'm saying do not make sense to you, at least share it with someone and let someone be blessed by the experience, because this is not for everyone. And I come to terms with that. But before we end this podcast, I want to read Psalm 73, verse 26. It says, "My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever." My body may fail, things may happen to you, but God is able. God is able to do far more than we can ever imagine and to think and ask. So, friends, as we dive into this powerful episode that's coming up, share it with your friends. One share with someone can change their life. And that one other person can share it with the next person, and we can change the world together. Let's connect. Let's share. My goal this year is connecting with one person and the next person and the next person, and we change. Let's help change this narrative of mental health, of what it is. Immigration story don't have to be sad all the time. We as immigrants are stronger than we think we are. You have left your country and you're wherever you are. You have left. You have come to a country that you said you want a better life. Whatever that better life looks like for you, let's make the best use of it. Because today, we don't know about tomorrow. And every chance we get, let's live to our true potential. Don't live in shame. Don't live in regrets. Let us live. And that's one of the things where I would say, and as I will touch on my grandmother as I go along. But one of the things my grandmother would want me, and unfortunately, I didn't get to travel for the funeral. But one of the things that she would want me to do, she would not want me to be swallowed in self-pity. She wouldn't want me to be crying over her. In Jamaican terms, I say, "Girl, stop your bawling." She would say, "Girl, stop the crying. Why are you crying? I am in a better place." And that's when I came term to it. And only through God I could have done that. Because this podcast is all about her. This journey is all about her. She was one of the persons that believed in me when no one else did. So, this podcast is on behalf of Beryl Anderson. I love her with all my heart. And that name, don't forget that name, because I'll be dropping something soon about Beryl Anderson. Thank you, everyone, for listening to that wonderful interview. It was such a delight. If you want to hear more inspiring episodes like these, please to follow us on our Instagram at Immigrate. We'll be uploading all the videos, all the short clips of it, and you can find me in my email at heslop.tashagay13@gmail.com. That is heslop.tashagay13@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to another great episode of Immigrate.